Hello, hi guys, welcome to the YouTube channel. So this is my first time trying to record a video on YouTube, so please don't go harsh on me. Anyways, so the topic today is hosting a React application on the Microsoft Azure Kubernetes services using GitHub Actions. As we all know, GitHub Actions is GitHub's in-house CI/CD pipeline tool used to use for DevOps. So let's get into action. I've already created this GitHub repository here for you guys. It's private now, but I'll make it public when I'm done with the demonstration here and I upload the YouTube video. So I've done nothing on the repository here, but I have created some secrets. So secrets are basically your authentication information or anything that is confidential that you don't want to share. That's why I set this up before I started recording. So since I'll be pushing my React application Dockerized image on Docker Hub, so I've stored my Docker Hub username and Docker Hub password here as GitHub secrets. And also since I'll be sending the Docker image to the Kubernetes hosted on AKS, I've also saved the Azure authentication here. I'll be adding steps and on how to do that. So let's get into action. The first thing that we want to do is that we want to create a React application. So let's do that quickly. Let me share my entire screen. Yeah. So to create the React application, we will be using npx create React app. That will create a demo application for us. Let's name it as demo. And it will take some time because it will first install npx, then it will also install some packages like React DOM, and then it will initialize the current directory that is named demo as a Git repository and fetch the files required for the Hello World React application. While that happens, let's switch here to Microsoft Azure and create a Kubernetes service because that also takes time. So here I am on my student account. I have got free credits from Azure, and you can also have free credits for the first 12 months from Microsoft Azure. And creating an account is extremely simple. So let's go ahead and create a Kubernetes service. We'll say add a cluster. You will have to specify your subscription. Then a resource group. So all resources in Azure are collaborated in a logical grouping called resource group. I've already created the resource group called niche, and this is the resource group that I've authenticated in my GitHub secrets file. Then the Kubernetes cluster name. Before I move ahead, I will share the how to authenticate to Azure, the command for that in the README file for the GitHub repository once I upload this video. So Kubernetes cluster name, we can take anything, but let's take it as Nishkash Raj. That is my name. Region, you can take it anything, but I have taken it where it is nearest to my home. Then the amount of nodes. So a Kubernetes cluster, though it is a containerized system, it runs on virtual machines and infrastructure. So nodes are basically virtual machines. You can set it at any number, but since I'm not going to use much resources, I'll take it one so that less credits of mine are being used. It will run some validation that whatever things that I've specified are correct or not. And then I can click on create and it will create a Kubernetes service for me. It would take roughly 4 or 5 minutes. So let's go back to the React application, which might have been created. So here we are. It will give us how to run this application locally, right? So let's cd into the demo application. And now first thing first, I'll type in git status. And as I mentioned, it will also create a git tracking for our folder called demo, which has the React application. So if I type in ls, all the files for my React applications are here. Let's try to run this application locally. We'll type npm start, and it will launch the React application in our browser. It will be hosted on localhost 3000. Might take few seconds to load. And here we go. So we did not write any code, but it created a Hello World application for us. And the code for it is written in src folder in the app.js file. Let's quickly modify it as well. Src app.js. We can remove this and say that hosting React application on Azure using GitHub Actions. And the fun fact is I do not have to restart the React application, only have to save this and the browser would automatically pick it up. There we go. So now I will terminate the job and come back here. So these source code files are present on my local machine. The next step would be sending these files onto my GitHub repository that I have created. So this is the repository that I have. And let's push it. So copy the URL for the repository and add the origin file. This command would connect my GitHub repository to the local folder that I have here. You can check it by git remote -v. And here we go, a connection has been created. Let's add these files in Git, commit it with a commit message. Let's push this. Okay, sorry. When you tab in git push, you have to specify the link name and also the branch name when you're doing it for the first time. And now all these files would be pushed to GitHub automatically. So let me open my README file that I have created for this presentation. So this is the command that is used to create the authentication file for Azure. I'll be pushing it in my GitHub repository, but this is the structure you would get. So it will have the client ID, client secret, and also many other things. So now these files must be here on GitHub. As you can see, it has also created a README for us, which we won't have to focus for right now. And it is still creating the k8s file. No, it has created. Great. Okay, then the next step would be to set up GitHub Actions for Docker build. So our source code is here. The next step would be creating a platform independent Docker image. So Docker is basically a container system that creates an image that can be used on any platform, be it Windows, Linux, Mac OS, and any version of it. So we'll go into Actions tab, and let's say set up a workflow for ourselves. I'm going to remove whatever GitHub has provided to us and copy this file that I created for myself. Before I move into what it does, let's create a Docker Hub repository. Create a repository. So this is your username generally. Type in any repository you want. Let's say demo AKS. Created as a public repository. For free, you are getting only one private repository. But when you are using private repository, you have to provide authentication whenever you are pulling it as well. Let's click on create. And then copy this URL, that is, sorry, not URL, but your username / your repository name, and replace it here. So let's quickly go through this YML file. So whenever you're creating GitHub Actions, they are created in the .github / workflows folder in a declarative format in YML extension. So this is the name of your GitHub Actions, and this is the trigger. So when will this GitHub action get triggered? I have used the push event. So whenever I push changes to any branch on this repository, this GitHub action would get triggered. And then I have to create some jobs that would run when the GitHub action is triggered. So actions checkout is basically used. It is created by GitHub Actions, and it allows us to use all the files present on our repository in the GitHub Actions. Then I would fire a terminal command, that is docker build, to build the Docker image. -t is basically the tag that I want. So here the tag is the name of my username followed by the repository. And dot basically specifies where this Docker file is. So dot is the current folder, and my Docker file must be present here. But as you see, we have not created the Docker file. So let's create it first. Quickly running through what the Docker file does. So it fetches a node image from Docker Hub, and in its Alpine version. So an Alpine version of node image is basically a lightweight image of node. Let's take a quick analogy here. So whenever you buy a new laptop or a PC, it might have only the OS installed on it, which is the lightweight version, or it might have some pre-default uh, softwares configured on it. So obviously, your hard disk would be freer when you're using only the OS installed here. So that's what Node Alpine image does. It is only the node image without any extra configuration installed. Then we are setting a work directory. So whenever you are using Docker, by default, it's always on the root or the home directory, depending on the permissions you have. But whenever you're using work directory command, it will set a folder whenever you will get into the Docker image. Then copy dot dot will copy all the files from my GitHub repository to the Docker image. Then I will use the run command for installing the npm packages. So npm install downloads all the dependencies required for our project mentioned in the package.json file. And then I will use npm run build. So that will build the project for me in the production mode. Then I will expose the port 3000. As if you remember, initially we had hosted our React application locally on localhost 3000. So the port 3000 is being used. Then I'm going to fire the cmd command and start this React application. A quick discussion on the run versus cmd command. So run command is executed whenever you are creating the Docker image, and cmd command is always fired whenever you are creating the Docker container. Okay, so I've not mentioned the Docker file. And let's commit this Docker file here. All good. So that means whenever I will fire this, my GitHub action should run. Let's go to the Actions tab and see this in work. It might take time because it's working for the first time. It will also generate logs which you can track whether it is successful or not. So it might take time because we are going to push a large image for the first time. So let's move to another platform called Docker Hub. Sorry, my bad. I won't go to Docker Hub here. The new platform would be Play with Docker. So it allows you to run Docker images and Docker containers without installing Docker on a parent OS, giving us a UI that is hosted on the browser itself. But it requires a login access to your Docker Hub account. So let's start the playground. It will give us an instance that we can use for 4 hours, but it is not a hard limit. You can always restart the session and you will get the 4 hours again. Okay, so add an instance. And now we have got an environment where we can run our Docker images without installing it on the parent OS. Type in Docker version, and Docker is installed here. Till now, I think it is pushed here. It must give us a success message before we go and see it on Docker Hub. is doing a cleanup. So that's it. We have got a success message, and the image must have been pushed here on Docker Hub. There you go. Last pushed a few seconds ago, and this Docker image is here. So remember this username slash repository, and let's pull it here in the Docker playground. The Docker pull command will pull this Docker image from the Docker Hub to the environment where we are firing this command. Can I get a paste? No? Okay. So it will download it quickly for us. And then extract it. As you can see there, it is pulling multiple layers. A quick tip here is that the number of layers are always equal to the number of lines you have written in the Docker file. So Docker basically is a layered system. The base layer is the base image that you have created, and on top of it, whatever commands you fire, it creates a new layer. So now we have downloaded it. Let's run it quickly. Docker run -it. IT is interactive and terminal, so it will create an interactive terminal for us. Then -p, that will map the port for us. We have used 3000 port, inbound and outbound rule, and then the name of the Docker image. It will start the React application for us at port 3000, so it is shown here. Let's wait for it to go up. There we go, it's hosted. And now we have hosted this Docker image successfully on our IP. But this is only private to this Docker playground, and it will expire in 4 hours. How to host a React application on a FQDN, that is fully qualified domain name, that is hosted there forever without buying a domain. Let's try to do that on Microsoft Azure then. Let's close this and move to Microsoft Azure. So this is the Kubernetes service that we have created. We will launch the Azure shell here. Click on connect so that we can connect the Azure shell to the Azure Kubernetes services. And now we can fire the kubectl command and check the nodes if they're up or not. So nodes are the virtual machine that we have created. If you remember, I've created only one virtual machine. I'm getting that was created 11 minutes ago. Great. So the Kubernetes service is up. Now the next step would be creating the deployment and services here. But before that, let's also create an ingress to the Kubernetes service. So I'll copy the script that I've created, paste it here. Quickly running through what this does. So Helm is a package manager for Kubernetes, and it will firstly we will add a repository, which is a stable repository where the Kubernetes ingress is stored. Before I talk about what an ingress is, let's talk about Kubernetes in a brief. So Kubernetes is a container orchestration system. So whatever containers you create, you might have multiple containers. It would orchestrate the networks and resources between them optimally. It does a lot of things, but that is what it basically uses. And so whenever you want to create a container and launch it, Kubernetes creates a deployment for it first. Deployment is basically a group of pods. A pod is a group of containers. So you might have different containers. If you're creating a full stack application that has a database and a front end, you might want to use different containers for the front end and back end. But they are since they're logically grouped, they might have been pushed in a single pod. So a deployment is basically a declarative format to create a pod. Similarly, we have to create a service. So a service is how you can access those pod outside the Kubernetes services. And but it is not recommended that you access the ingresses. So sorry, access the services directly. So you create a level 7 load balancer with ingress so that an abstract access is given rather than a direct access to the Kubernetes service. You can read more about it on the open source documentation. So my ingress has been created. Let's see kubectl get service. And as you can see, a load balancer ingress has been created and it is hosted on this external IP. Let's go to that. And you will see a default backend. Because we are not hosting any application right now, we will get a default backend. But you can see this is a public IP. Map it to a fully qualified domain name. For that, go to public IP here. So this is the same IP address that we have to map. Let's click on this, go to the configurations and map it. So you can add anything. I'll use SIB. Has some relevance to me because I created a community called Storms and Brewing. But you can use anything here. It will take some time and there we go. This IP address is now mapped to a fully qualified domain name. Okay. And I'm getting the same results here on the IP address as here on the domain name. So it's the same thing mapped together. The final step for hosting the React application on Kubernetes would be writing the declarative YAML files for deployments, services, and ingresses. So I've already written those in the documentation I've created. So I have grouped the deployment and service in a single file. Let's go to the root of the repository and add another file called gates.yml. Type in the file name here. So let's have a quick glance over here. So this file is of type deployments. It means that we are going to specify the pods and the containers we are going to use. Replicas here means how many replicas of the deployment you want to create. Then you have to specify the name of the deployment. So here it is demo. Then you have to specify the specifications of containers. So the container was your repository name slash, sorry, your username slash repository name. So this part is the deployment. After some linting, we will go to a service. So this is a kind service for Kubernetes. Its name is demo. It should be mapped to a deployment. For that, we have to use a selector. Since the name of the service and the name of the deployment is same, we don't have to worry about that. It is of type node port. So services can be of three types. First one is the cluster IP. It is private to the Kubernetes cluster. Second is node port. It is private to Kubernetes cluster and the Microsoft Azure account and all the members in the same Azure Active Directory. And the third one is the load balancer, which is public to all. Okay, so after this, let's commit this file. Similarly, I have to create an ingress file now. Okay, sorry. Let's type in ingress.yml. Type in this. So now this file is of type ingress. It has a name demo so that we have a unified name. We don't have to worry about some errors in specification. It is mapped to the service name demo and it has a port 3000. Now on host, you have to write the host that is this URL. Let's replace URL with this. And push this file on GitHub. And one thing you might see in the Actions tab is whenever you create a push event, it is always running the Docker push that the GitHub Actions we have set here. So now next step and the final step would be to modify the GitHub Actions, which was working till Docker push till now, to push the Docker file and the Docker image to the Kubernetes services and host their applications on the URL which is this one. So let's modify our GitHub Actions YAML file. Have this configuration here. Let me first copy, then I will discuss what it does. Should not be any spacing errors. So the first command that I've added is Azure AKS set context. So we want to authenticate this GitHub Actions with the Kubernetes resource group. So the credential is stored here. The cluster name should be the Kubernetes cluster name. Kubernetes cluster name that I've created is Nishkesh Raj, if I remember it correctly. And the resource group should be the name of the resource group that we've authenticated. So that is Nish for me right now. Then we move into the last job, which is push this Docker file to the K8s. And we have the manifest files on the Docker, on the GitHub repository, which we have just created, the k8s.yml file and the ingress file. And the namespace is the Kubernetes namespace. So before I go here, before I fire that command, let's see. You can fire kubectl get ns, that is namespace. And there are multiple namespaces created by default by Kubernetes for us. You can create a namespace if you want to have one. Create ns niche. But we can work with the default for now. Let's fire this. And hopefully this will end up hosting a React application on this URL. So while this job runs, let's quickly summarize what we have learned today. So initially we created our GitHub repository and stored our Azure and Docker Hub credentials in the settings secrets file provided by GitHub. Then we created a React application locally by using npx create React application that creates a demo Hello World project for us. We modified it by a single line and push these files on GitHub. Then the next step was to Dockerize this. So we wrote a Docker file, and that Docker file was pushed to the Docker Hub. And we tested it in the Play with Dockers environment. After that, we created the Azure Kubernetes services on Microsoft Azure Cloud and created an ingress to it. And we mapped that ingress to a URL so that we have a fully qualified domain name where our React application is being stored. Then we modified our GitHub Actions to push this Docker file to the Kubernetes service. So now we can see that this GitHub Actions has finally run successfully. We should see the logs here. And if you go specifically for the K8s logs, we will see that our service is created, the deployment is created, and the ingress is created. And let's go to the browser and refresh this, and you might see the React application on this URL. There we go. We have successfully hosted a React application on a fully qualified domain name service using Microsoft Azure and GitHub Actions. Thank you for watching this video. Make sure you like and subscribe, and please, if you have any doubts, you can always mention them in the comment section, and I would love to answer them personally. Thank you.